Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
And tonight we'll be reviewing that sci-fi cult classic, Jurassic Park.
It's not a cult classic.
Well, it is to me.
It's a classic.
Jurassic Park, the film franchise.
The real one, the first one.
The original film franchise.
1993.
Yeah.
Sci-fi action film.
Yeah. It began in 1993, and the series
It's still going
ended,
strong today.
And series went to 2001, I think it was.
Last year, whatever.
Yeah.
Has that come out yet? Last year's one? Has that actually been
No,
released?
you're referring to the new Jurassic World.
That's what I just said.
I just meant that we're doing the original three films, not the new ones like Jurassic World or Jurassic Lost Kingdom, or the one that's coming after that.
There's one due to come out.
It's due this year.
This year, yeah.
This is why we're doing
I'm
this
a bit
review.
behind the times of Jurassic, so I don't have all the dinosaur movies yet.
So I'm going to leave the Jurassic World for next time because that's an incomplete franchise at the moment.
That's sort of a little bit separate. You got Jurassic Park, the original one, and the second one, they sort of follow each other. And the third one is bending it a little bit.
Bending to
and then
the wind.
Start getting into Jurassic World sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I think. But yeah.
And just so you guys know, it's a continuation of it.
Yeah.
It seems like whenever I think of Jurassic World, it's like they've forgotten the previous mistakes John Hammond made, maybe, and they think that, and they're in those new movies, they keep making new mistakes along the way.
New mistakes. The dinosaurs ruled the world millions of years ago. And when you bring them back here, they're going to rule again. Why would you bring them back?
Beats me, heck out of me.
Okay. We're just going to be a smorgasbord for them. Yeah. Anyway, here we go. Produced by Kathleen Kennedy and Gerald Molen. Directed by, you guessed it, Steven Spielberg.
Yeah,
what
brilliant
a
man.
marvellous director. Now, I must admit, all jokes aside, Steven Spielberg can do a drama. He can do a sci-fi. He can do whatever he turns his hand to, and normally does it pretty damn good.
Yeah,
so good one, Stephen.
Another good example of a great director.
Yeah. Well, when he was doing the post-edit for this, he was doing Schindler's List. So that was the sci-fi. It wasn't a horror. It wasn't an action film. It was a war drama. So the man is a very good director. And you got guys like Spielberg, Lucas, Wes Craven, James Cameron,
John Carpenter, all those other
these guys are great.
No-brainers.
Yeah.
No, that's very disrespectful. They're awesome directors and filmmakers.
They've all got something to bring to the table when it comes to directing, or producing and directing,
both.
Or both, yeah. And these guys are talented, and it's going to be a shame when some of these guys start dropping off the perch. Because I don't know if there's any new guys coming up anywhere near as good as them.
I think that when it comes down to it, it's the independent ones that will replace the old ones.
But they're not being given. They're being kept out of the mainstream theatres.
True. It's a shame though.
Because no one's nurturing the new people to come in. They're saying, no, you're an independent. Go away, leave us alone. And then all of a sudden, the main guys are all getting old.
True. I gotta admit though, the independent ones are more eye-catching and have more imagination.
New imagination, fresh ideas. Anyway, here, moving along. Okay, this is going to be a long one, I think. Screenplay was by Michael Crichton and David Cope, based on the original book written by Michael Crichton, same name, Jurassic Park.
I may have mentioned in the past that he's did a few other movies. He did the story for Timeline and the Congo.
Didn't he do a TV series?
I haven't. Maybe.
ER or something or other. I think, whatever, it doesn't matter.
But I know for a fact he did the stories for both those other movies I mentioned.
Yeah, but these guys write and screenwrite.
But according to his biggest success was Jurassic Park and the Lost World Jurassic Park. Yep. We still keep talking about it.
Now here's a part I love. I like the money side of things as well as the art, but this one's going to blow your mind. The budget was $63 million. Now that's a lot of money. But box office, this does not include home media. This
Good.
is box office.
Good.
1 point something or other billion at the box office. Now, that's what I call a damn good rate of return for any film project.
Smart.
So, yeah, Spielberg, he worked his magic. He did it well. Obviously, he had a good team working for him. Industrial Light Magic, Lucas crowd was in there. And he had all these other good actors. And everybody just really gave their all.
Yeah. When I look at this dinosaur movie, it blows my mind away every time I watch it.
It makes Godzilla look like a lizard.
Well, more than that. It's just that a lot of people have tried their hardest to make their own dinosaur-related movie, and sometimes it just come off lacking because of the either budget or maybe the special effects side.
That's budget.
Or stuff like that.
You look at this here. They had CGI, they had animatronics, they had puppeteering. What else have there? Some stop motion. Yeah. Not a lot. But the rendering process was so damn expensive and time consuming. It becomes cost prohibitive for a smaller budget filmmaker.
Yeah, bear in mind, Steven Spielberg also worked on Jaws. And
he did before this. Yeah.
He did Indiana Jones. And
he wanted Jaws on land.
Really?
Well, no. He said Jaws was a sea creature wreaking havoc and killing people. He wanted to do the same thing on land with dinosaurs.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about who stars in the first one. And considering that both of the two other movies, they would often have one or the other actor in return.
Well, actually, Sam Neill was in one or two others.
He was in the first one and the third one.
That's right. Yeah.
But Goldblum, he also made one and. He did first one and then the second one, The Lost World, obviously.
Yeah. They made fresh actors for the other one, didn't they? Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, irrespective. Now, I'm going to just go through the initial cast. Now, I'll talk about the cast later, because the selection process was interesting. They had other people lined up to play some of these roles, but I'll talk about them later. Now, here we go. The main cast as we speak now. Sam Neill plays the main scientist guy. Yeah. Alan Grant, Laura Dern plays his offsider, Ellie Sattler. They got a bit of chemistry going here.
Yeah, she reminds me of a person I knew when I was a little kid, but I don't remember her name, obviously.
Well, great memory there. Okay, Jeff Goldblum plays Dr. Ian Malcolm. He's the interesting one. The fly in the ointment when it comes to Alan and Ellie.
He speaks like a
he's a bit of a flirt. He's been married several times. You get the idea.
He has kids.
Now, Richard Attenborough, he plays John Hammond. He's a businessman, philanthropist, whatever you want to call him. And he's the creator of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and he makes an appearance 3 years later after the first movie, just as in the opening and at the ending of the movie. Yeah, good. Not a very big role, but he still played a very key role in those productions.
Okay, Bob Peck, he plays Robert Muldoon. He's something like the Great White Hunter who helps control the dinosaurs. I'll mention these two kids because I thought they played good roles. Joseph Mazzello plays Tim Murphy, and Ariana Richards plays Lex Murphy. Now, they're John Hammond's grandchildren. Now, these kids, sometimes you get kids in movies and they're really pains in the rear end, but these kids play pretty good roles. And actually, the little guy is Tim Murphy. He was chosen by Spielberg to come into this movie because Spielberg did Hook previously. And he was lined up to have Tim play the role of one of the kids in that, but he's a tad young. But he promised him a role in his next movie. Good. When he had a kid role, and he said, "Okay, I've got this movie. Do you want the job?" So yeah, he must have been very impressed by his child actor Tim, and obviously he didn't come over as a pain in the ass, wimpy, whiny kid. He came over as a good actor. So yeah. Yeah. Nothing against Ariana either. She was quite good too. Yeah. And actually they did a role reversal when they wrote from the book to the screenplay. They did a role reversal. So
they made Tim a dinosaur enthusiast, and he made Lex a little bit more of a
computer hacker.
And
in the book was the other way around.
Yeah, but the Tim character, who was the oldest of the pair of the kids, in the book.
He was a computer nerd.
He was the computer nerd and the dinosaur enthusiast.
And the little sister was a sport nut. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Things like that. Now, do you want to take on...
And John Harriman, I should mention, he's more of a wealthy businessman who doesn't care about the safety of the public.
Well, that was in the book.
In the book,
yeah,
obviously.
But here they made like a kind old grandfatherly sort of...
Walt Disney type.
Walt Disney, you know the type.
Yeah, good
Santa Claus.
Good natured.
He was Santa Claus. Okay.
So he was a good natured in the movie, but in the books, he's a total... all about the money type guy.
Well, he did. Money. I'll forget everybody. And this one, they started us off with his personality. And actually, I think they did jiggle around some of the personalities, even with Alan and Ellie and other people. They changed them around a little bit and stuff. And, but it really works. Whoever the guys writing the script really did some magic there. Anyway, do you want to tell the story? This is going to be a long podcast.
Yes.
That's why I'm giving you sort of hurry up looks on my face.
So I'll begin as I can see it.
Once upon a time there was... sorry.
So the first one deals with the park itself, and John Hammond invites Dr. Grant and Dr. Ellie, whatever her name is, and Dr. Ian Malcolm to come to the island and observe it from a...
Well, I'll take it back one bit. The park's getting ready to be opened.
Yes.
And they got a lawyer coming out.
Yeah. One of the men who was one of the staff there, he got really killed.
Chewed up by a velociraptor. Now,
and the lawyer was just there to try to smooth things over.
No, he wasn't trying to smooth things over.
Okay.
He was there if there was any chance of it being nasty, unsafe, whatever, they'll close him down.
Yes.
Not smooth anything over.
Okay,
now,
he was there to...
Shut up, let me get a word in.
Okay.
Thank you. So he invited he didn't invite, the lawyer was there representing the people who invested in him.
Yeah.
And he invited Alan Grant, Ellie, Annie and Malcolm to go there and give their personal opinion on the safety and viability of the park.
Yeah.
And if they signed off saying, we think it's good and safe, then the lawyer will be happy and he can report back to the board of directors saying yes, or the board of directors can report back to shareholders saying yes, and everyone's happy and smiling.
Yeah.
That's why he's there for.
How we never know in the Jurassic world, we'll never know how they swung it over. We'll never know.
I'll swing you over a minute.
Or maybe the guys there ignored all the previous mistakes and decided to roll with it.
We just got to tell the story. This is going to be a long one. These people are going to be in bed by the time you finish telling the story.
So they go to the park. Everything looks great. We saw a Brachiosaurus. Brachiosaur, and everyone is blown by by John Hammond's creations.
Actually, he did everything too. I think he actually got some of the plants. Yeah. Somehow or other. Of that period, Jurassic and Cretaceous period or whatever, and and so they had the right plants there, and from one drop of blood from a mosquito, I think it's highly improbable that any of this could have happened. You would have had the blood from one dinosaur.
But then one of the dinosaurs, the Triceratops, didn't she get sick from eating some
toxic berries? But they believe that toxic berries, they wouldn't have eaten them, so they didn't care about them. But yeah. I can't remember some sort of plant she mentioned. It's a real plant, and it's toxic. But animals don't normally eat it.
Yeah, because Anyway, moving on. So
the Brachiosaurus, they said hello, and they saw the Triceratops later on. Moving along.
They go on a special tour, like a sort of safari thing. I think it would be called.
Yeah, like a safari in automated cars.
Yeah, and. At first, we don't see too many of the dinosaurs because there are no shows.
They're hiding in the bushes. That's really good. Ever been to a safari park where all the animals are hiding in trees and in the shade somewhere and saying, I wish they'd move or come out so I can actually see one?
Yeah.
Same problem.
And soon enough, it starts raining. There's a big thunderstorm. And meanwhile, while this is all happening...
I think it was a cyclone or something coming over. Yeah.
And meanwhile, while this is all happening, a saboteur, named, what's his name? Who cares?
Something Nedry. I can't remember.
Nedry.
Something Nedry. I didn't mention his name. He wasn't important.
Yeah, that's true.
Dennis Nedry, played by Wayne Knight. He's money hungry. He's selling off the embryos to a rival.
Yeah, Wayne, whatever his name is. He was also in Seinfeld, as I recall.
He was. He played Newman.
Yeah, a very annoying person.
Oh, yeah, and he's annoying in this too. Same sort of personality. Yeah,
yes.
Well, there you
go.
go.
So he sabotages by, shutting down the security, and so he can steal some embryo eggs for a rival company. I think it was.
It's not just sabotaging. He has to get from point A to point B and get through security gates and locks and fences. Yeah. So he turns the security system off.
But what about the phones?
Well, that came off. They went off too because when the reboot was and everything was going, when his program was going through with the reboot, everything went out. So a few things are going to drop out, but I'll come back in later. Yeah. But didn't quite work according to plan. And by the time he got through to where he's going to, all the dinosaurs were starting to get out.
Mm-hmm, true.
Oops.
And this is where our big T-Rex decides to start attacking.
And velociraptors, they got out. And everybody else.
And what's that weird poisonous frill-neck lizard type one?
Cutie pie, Dilophosaurus or something or other. I can't remember. Yeah. Here it is. Dilophosaurus. How's that?
So the Dilophosaurus kills Newman, and the embryo
Nedry.
Eggs are lost forever.
All the embryos get lost in the mud somewhere. Yeah.
And if you ever watch the video game, which you may have, you would find what becomes of those eggs. Not eggs, I mean the embryos. Stuff. I don't know why I said that.
Can you move on and tell the story of the movie?
Okay.
We're going to digress to the computer game now, are we?
Okay. So everything's switched off, and John has to look after the kids who have been scared out of their wits from the T-Rex, and now they have to track. Alan. Sorry, I don't know why I said John. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Ian was very badly injured and can't walk, so he's confined to crutches.
But wait a minute, you're jumping over things. Ian didn't hurt his leg until a bit later on.
Okay, when
their little mobile cars got powered down just near the T-Rex security fence.
Which is a bit odd.
The T-Rex gets out, and he trashes the place.
Yes.
The lawyer is in the car with the kids, and he jumps out and runs away and heads
to the
for
toilet.
A toilet block nearby.
And this is where I love this part where he's...
And this is great, because the T-Rex walks out. Actually, Jeff Goldblum, Ian, he runs in the same area as well. And the dinosaur, the T-Rex, comes over there and knocks the building over.
Yeah.
Ignores...
Before we get to that, I like the bit where he says when he watches the lawyer running to the toilet,
he said, well,
and I like it when he says that. It's so funny, that part.
Whoopee,
all right, so go back to what you're saying.
All right, and the T-Rex goes out of the building here, and he knocks the building over. So Jeff Goldblum, Ian, he gets covered up by some of the debris, so the T-Rex don't see him. However, the lawyer's sitting there on the toilet.
Oh man, that's the worst type of death.
Looking up at the T-Rex, and T-Rex looking down at him, and he goes, I don't know if he actually says anything, but T-Rex just goes down there and picks him, swallows him, half him anyway, and lifts him up and whatever. And everybody in the theatre, when I saw it years ago, went, Yay! Because he left the kiddies. You don't leave kiddies alone in the car when there's a dinosaur running around, honestly.
Yeah, soon enough, Alan takes it upon himself to look after the kiddies and get them to escape this T-Rex thing.
He's coming of age for Alan. He hated kids at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, he disliked them at the beginning.
Horrible, smelly, noisy, expensive, all the above.
Yeah, Ellie is trying to get him to get over this horrible phobia of his.
Not a phobia, he just hates kids. And in your case, I'll make an exception as well. Oh, sorry.
That'd be nasty. Soon enough, when later on they're gone, from the side where the T-Rex was, Ellie and that one of the Rodu,
the hunter guy.
They head to the site where the damaged the cars were, and they find Ian, obviously, and they get traced down by a T-Rex. While this is happening, we get a nice touching scene where Alan and the kids, they meet some pair of Brachiosauruses grazing on some leaves. And it's really touching, especially the bit where one of them sneezes on Lex.
Actually, those close-ups of the Brachiosaurus eating leaves stuff.
Yeah.
that wasn't remote control. It wasn't animatronics. That was actually puppeteers actually making that work.
That's cool.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how many puppeteers got inside that head.
Yeah, anyway, it was I thought it was funny when they sneezed on, one of them sneezes on Lexus. Achoo!
And you look on her face going, I got snotted on by a dinosaur.
She slimed me.
Right. Yeah, well, there you go.
Anyway, then we find out that on the ground, the Alan discovers some dinosaur eggs, and we learned much before this. Henry, one of the inventors of the dinosaurs, says that all the dinosaurs in the park were female. But Alan discovers that when I'll explain. The dinosaur's DNA is connected to the DNA of a frog.
No, it wasn't connected to. When they were recreating the DNA for a dinosaur, they had a couple of missing links to the DNA chain.
Yeah.
So they had a similar DNA chain for an amphibian, happened to be a particular frog. So that particular frog species was DNA was intermingled with the dinosaurs to complete the sequence. Now the thing is that in some species of frogs, when a single-sex environment, supposedly they will change. Some will change sex so they can continue the species, and that's what happened with the dinosaurs.
Yes. Somehow they made a few tiny bit of errors there.
Yes. They didn't have to worry about lifting up the skirts to see which ones were the boys and girls.
Yeah, well, it does happen. As Ian said, life will always find a way.
Exactly.
And there's some truth into that.
Exactly.
So anyway, now that Alan found the way, meanwhile, while this was happening, John decides to reboot all the computers so they can try to get the power back on.
Well, yeah, but the reason they of course, Nedry, the guy who tried to steal the embryos, they couldn't break in his computer program, and they couldn't break in his computer properly because of his password. So, only way to do it, do a total reboot. Yeah. Yeah.
So they shut the whole thing down, and that means that when they got kind of turn things back on, the lights were still off.
Yeah, no. To complete the reboot process, they had to go down to the power shed, which is across the compound, and reboot about 8 or 10 different sectors, some from the mains.
Which alley goes down to
wait
eventually.
A minute. The doctor, who's it? It's a Morgan for what's his name? Samuel Jackson, whatever. Dr. Ray Arnold, or science guy, he went down there and nothing happened. So Ellie and Muldoon go after him.
Yeah.
And
Muldoon goes after some raptors that escaped.
Velociraptors, and Ellie makes her way down the power shed. She goes down there, and she turns the power on, only to be monstered by a Velociraptor.
Yeah.
Hey,
eventually she gets away, and while Muldoon does
not get away, he becomes lunch.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving right along.
The kids who are with Alan, they eventually get over a wired non-electrical fence, but then it gets turned on, and
the little boy gets blown off the fence and gets caught by Alan. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, and Alan revives him with CPR. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah. He wasn't breathing. I mean, a bit of CPR goes a long way.
Yeah, and eventually he takes them to the main centre, whatever.
Drops the kids off there. They're gobbling up all the ice cream and cakes and whatever they can find because they're very hungry.
Yeah, well, it's been a long night and long morning. What do you expect?
Well, you stress that. After all they'd been through, they said, "Oh, beaut, cake, lollies." Took their mind right off and they're smiling for a couple of minutes.
And then they find that there's some raptors hovering in the vicinity.
Yeah, they saw a shadow of a raptor on a mural. Oh,
yeah, and so they try to hide in the kitchen, and at first they try to hide from the raptors for a bit, and then the raptors start noticing them there. And eventually they lock one in the fridge, and while escaping the other one that was still in the kitchen.
Yeah, somewhat. So in the end, the little boy and little girl escaped out of that little environment there.
Yeah, and Alan and Ellie, who
they appear on the scene,
take the kids down to the control room to restart the security and the
and the little girl was being a computer hacker, but in a spare time, knew this. I think it's a Unix system. It's an old system I don't know about. And she got into it. She found it. went in the right area, and turned all the goodies on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yippee.
Yay.
And eventually, the raptor who still follows them, and Alan and the others, they go up into the air vents to try to avoid it.
But
unfortunately,
Velociraptors are pretty smart guys.
But unfortunately, one of the Velociraptors bumps its head into the vent and tries to say hello.
Hello.
And unfortunately, Alan gives it a kick, and Lex ends up dangling from the vent.
Nearly wets her pants. Yeah,
Luckily for us. Anyway, they eventually climb out onto one of the
suspended dinosaur. I think the T-Rex frame hanging from the roof. Yeah.
So they climb onto the bone structures and then the raptor appears and Snapooey the bones part.
The guy wise, yeah.
Eventually,
and starts falling to the ground.
Yeah. Eventually, another raptor appears, and our heroes get trapped. With the two raptors, but luckily enough, the T-Rex appears and kills them.
You could have made it a bit more dramatic there. They're going to get chewed up by the Velociraptor, and just before they got monstered by this creature, T-Rex walks the door and he picks him up and chews him up in little pieces and throws across the room, saying, "Hey, I'm in charge here."
Yeah. So luckily the distraction works, and eventually the kids and Alan and Ellie they get out and they meet with John Hammond in the vehicle.
And they've already called for a helicopter to get a lift out of there.
Yeah, and Alan says that he's finally made his decision.
He's not going to endorse his project here.
And John agrees with him.
He said, neither am I.
So they head
But wait a minute. When they're flying out, you got T-Rex is in the building still.
Lobby
of the building. And he's giving me a roar like King Kong. And then this big banner falls down saying, "When dinosaurs ruled the earth." Very good ending.
Yeah.
Very dramatic. Very King Kongy.
Yeah. And so,
but he didn't die.
Yes. So they soon arrive at the helicopter pad. Yeah, helicopter pad.
Yeah, and they flew off.
And Alan is finally got over his phobia with the kids.
No, it wasn't a phobia. He just didn't like kids. He just hated kids. And he's sitting there and he's snuggling into him like a father image, and Ellie was smiling at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, having just said that, before I gave my other notes, at the end of this movie, they're looking at the helicopter and they're seeing these pelicans or something flying nearby, and they look, nice, normal birds.
Yeah, well...
At the end of the second movie, they're looking out the window of a helicopter or a plane, and they're seeing pterodactyls flying past.
That was the third movie.
Third movie. Yeah, hello, pterodactyls are flying to the mainland. Yeah,
yeah. Mike made a point to me on several occasions that when we watched the second two movies, that we never even established whether or not where those the pterodactyls may travel.
Well, they weren't going to Bali for a holiday, I'll tell you right now.
They may travel far distances and make a new home for themselves. Yeah. Or find human food, as you put it.
They need a buffet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now I'll mention the two other movies that come after this one. I'll keep them simple. In the Lost World, the sequel, it's 3 years after the whole Jurassic Park movie. So, Ian Malcolm he announces to the world about the experience, and everyone doesn't believe him.
I think he's an idiot.
Yeah, it eliminates his post in the university, all that stuff, discrediting everything.
John Hammond's company, InGen or whatever, is denying anything happened and whatever, so it's their word against his, and they had more money, and so they squashed him. Mm-hmm. But they decided they needed to do something, didn't they?
Yeah. John Hammond, he sends Ian and to the second island, Island B.
Island B was where they actually bred them before they moved them onto the other island.
Yeah, so, and Island B appears in both this movie and the next movie.
Yeah.
So... our heroes go down to the island. They're there to supervise.
Not supervise. Observe
the place.
And to take notes and study and stuff. And
While John Hammond's nephew, he wants to go to the island so he can gather up as much dinosaurs so he can market them.
Yeah,
or,
bring back the mainland or something and sell them off, or put them in zoos or
whatever.
Just
like John Hammond, he's a dreamer who doesn't realise the whole picture.
I can make money out of this with no thought of what the repercussions are going to be.
Yeah, luckily enough, John Hammond was prepared for this. He sends a guy who's not only a photographer, he was also he worked in Greenpeace, which means that he also has a good knowledge of, vandalizing companies.
Yeah.
Or
anyway,
or protests.
Let's move on.
So they end up releasing all the dinosaurs, but in turn, these guys, they end up capturing a very big, humongous T-Rex.
Yay.
And that doesn't go so well because then that T-Rex goes on a rampage.
Yay.
In Chicago, no less.
Whatever, yeah.
And this is where our heroes have to try to reunite the T-Rex with its offspring.
It had its baby T-Rex.
Yeah. They said that in this movie that it deals with the fact that the T-Rex usually abandons their little baby the moment it's born.
Should leave kiddies out of it. Yeah,
but in this movie, they try to make out that T-Rexes look after their offspring.
Yeah. So it's really hard to... I mean, they got ideas, but they wouldn't really know whether they were mated for life, looked after the young, or whatever. So they're only guessing. They're making stuff
I only
up.
heard this when I was in school. We used to have a sort of theme thing at a school where we learned different subjects, and the one I remember most was where we learnt about dinosaurs
Very
year.
nice.
Anyway, moving on. So eventually Ian was able to reunite the little baby T-Rex with its mommy T-Rex, and it gobbles up the bad guy.
Yay!
And they then finally were able to convince InGen and the government to keep it as a sort of a reserve,
Yeah, not to be touched, not to go there. Yeah, let them live on the little island and eat each other.
And live their lives.
And live happily ever after.
And not have any contact with human people.
We're not meant to be together. Mm-hmm. Until the third movie.
And the fourth.
And the fourth movie, yeah. And the fifth movie, yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So the third movie, it deals with Sam Neill making another appearance as his counterpart, Alan Grant. And it's, let me see, this was done in 2001, another few years later. And in this one, he's brought along by two separated parents who are looking for their son. And in return,
Well, don't say that first up. Mm-hmm. They want to go for a frill flight over the island.
Yeah.
That's how he gets enticed in. We'll finance you or next couple of years on your digs and everything else if you become a tour guide.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But he didn't tell them the truth.
No. As it turns out, he gets dragged in.
We're going to review the 3 movies tonight, are we?
Yep.
You didn't tell me that.
I just did.
I have no notes.
Well, I did say a franchise.
You said we're going to do the first movie.
No, I said the franchise.
I have to wing it now.
I said the franchise.
You
dummy.
You did it. You said the first movie.
No, I said the franchise.
Well, how can we introduce the first movie at the beginning of the podcast?
Because it's more detailed.
Okay, moving right along.
So anyway, in this one,
I'll just hunder myself.
Yeah.
Here.
So they do find the kid, and they encounter a new menacing king dinosaur in their midst. A weird, frilly type T-Rex of sorts.
Yeah, it's a big one like a T-Rex, but it's got a frill down the middle of its back.
I don't know
what it's called.
It makes me think of that Jurassic World dinosaur, the one that they were trying to mix species up in that one.
Yeah, but they've got a bit of Velociraptor in that one as well. So, but I know it's lots of good groovy dinosaurs in this.
In this one, Alan is studying raptors and how they have a good speech. They could talk to one another.
Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you.
And by using this new knowledge, he was able to save the rest of the party by using a special
a 3D generated sound thingy which came out of a Velociraptor's head when they did the what do you call it, MRI?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he used
pretty good,
his new. He was able to work out exactly what the raptors wanted because one of his somehow one of the guys who was with them, he stole some raptor eggs in hopes of funding in order to fund the dig. But unfortunately, Alan frowned on that. But as he was about to throw them over, he realised that if we throw them away, what if the raptors continue chasing us?
And say, where are the eggs? And they say, we got rid of them. They will not be pleased.
Yeah. Eventually, they're all rescued by the military, whom, as it turns out, Ellie, who in the first movie, is now married to a man who works in the government, who deals with military stuff.
Oh, yeah, something like that, yeah. So, but they had a radio phone they used, and so he finally got through to Ellie. Had not much charge left in it, just enough got through. And before they knew it, next morning they had all the military, army, air force, everybody, and
and they were able to get them off the island. And then we see the pterodactyls. They were in a sort of cage of sorts, but somehow someone let the cage door open.
Yeah.
I won't mention who or how.
Sam Neill or somebody.
Anyway, and we watched the pterodactyls fly to a new place. Well, hopefully we'll get the military will shoot them out.
China, Thailand, somewhere, whatever. Yeah. South America. I can't remember where it's actually really based. I know it was filmed in Hawaii, but it was supposed to be off South America somewhere.
That third movie, I should mention, was not done by Steven Spielberg, as it turns out. It was done by a guy named Joe Johnson. Or Johnson.
Will you show it to me? That's why I would have had all the information here. Where is that point of it? John Johnson, I think. Johnson.
Yeah. So I guess Steven Spielberg wanted to move on from his current
he had other jobs to do.
True.
I mean, crikey. I mean, when he was doing this movie, he was given the permission to do. Yeah, where is it? I had it written down here somewhere. Yeah, I had written down somewhere. When he was doing this movie, he wanted to do this movie. He wanted to do Schindler's List, but they said, you do Schindler's List, so the studio said, we want you to do this movie first. And that's how he said, okay, I'll do your Jurassic Park movie. And when they'd finished filming, not the post that, when they finished the film, he went straight on to the Schindler's List movie production. And when he was doing Schindler's List, he was actually doing that movie and handling post-production for this movie at the same time. He was working his bum off.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, Steven Spielberg, he did both the original Jurassic Park movie and the sequel, obviously the Lost World, and that was about his role in the Jurassic Park series, as far as I'm concerned. As for the Jurassic World one, which is a separate sequel trilogy at the moment, I'll probably will do that next time because we still have one more movie to go until it's completed or finished or confirmed. And I'd rather wait until that movie comes out before I make a final analysis of that movie, that trilogy.
That sounds like a plan.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, how was the movie reviews side to it? Was it a box office smash or a box office drop?
All I'll say is it's really nice when everybody is on the same page. They made the movie. They made a bucket load of money on it, which means lots and lots of people actually went to the theatre and probably bought them VHS and DVD.
Nice.
And on the whole, most of the reviews were excited. They thought, this is great.
So they weren't given...
Oh, there's a couple of mediocre ones, but there's no bad ones, no scathing ones. So it was terrible. There was one person who did comment. I won't read them. Commented something on the fact, the dinosaurs were good, but the actors were pretty lame because there's no backstories or any character development.
Hello.
And wait a minute, it's about the bloody dinosaurs, not about I've got issues, and I've had a divorce, and I've got so and so, and I've got kitties, and I've got no. It's about the bloody dinosaurs.
There was a bit of backstory with
a little bit here and there
with John Hammond, when he was during one of the scenes, there was mentioned in passing that John was no-show because he was dealing with his daughter's divorce, and she needed.
Yeah, that's all.
And I don't know if this is the same mother of Tim and Lex.
Well, whatever. The point still.
And that's probably one of the reasons why they were upset about the lawyer leaving them, because they have family.
But what I'm saying is they had enough information. We knew that Dr. Ian Malcolm was a womanizer. He'd been married 3 or 4 times, and he was trying to crack on Ellie. So we knew he was a womanizer. Okay, fun guy. We knew that Alan was a workaholic, dedicated dinosaur guy. And we know that John Hammond was he came out as being a
grandfather figure.
No, when he first started, his backstory.
Okay, backstory.
He started off doing Nichols and Dine crap years and years ago, doing flea circuses in England or something or other. He built up his career and made money, became a businessman and whatever. So bits of it came out, but you don't really need to know. Oh, when he was a young child, he went to secondary school, then he went to high school, then he spent the time in the army. And when would he have time to fit the dinosaurs in?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's the whole point. So you have enough backstory for the human beings.
Yeah.
This was an action movie about dinosaurs, not a movie about human beings with a few dinosaurs thrown in to make it interesting. Yeah. This was a dinosaur movie. And honestly, if you spent too much time on character development, it would have taken away from story.
True.
So yeah, that reviewer had no idea what he was talking about, or he or she. Actually, who was it? I'll go and have a look. I got pages and pages up here. Just talk about yourself a minute.
Jurassic Park is frightening in the dark.
Actually, Weird Al Yankovic does a song about Jurassic Park. It's really good.
All the dinosaurs are running.
Here we are.
What a crummy weekend this has been. And I don't think I'll ever come back again. Oh no.
Okay, here it is. Rolling Stones magazine reviewer Peter Travers described the film as colossal entertainment.
Colossal.
Colossal.
That's a good word.
The eye-popping, mind-bending, kick-out-the-jam thrill ride of summer and probably the gear. Compared with the dinosaurs, the characters are dry bones, indeed. Crichton and his co-screenwriter David Cope have flattened them into non-entities on the trip from page to screen.
Oh boy.
Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, here's one. Robert Ebert. I know Robert's passed away, so I won't say anything nasty about him. Okay, gave it 3 stars out of 4, which isn't too bad. The movie delivers all too well on its promise to show us dinosaurs. We see them early and often, and they are indeed a triumph of special effects artistry. But the movie is lacking other qualities that it needs even more, such as a sense of awe and wonderment and strong human story values.
Awe and wonderment?
Where would you fit the strong story values in it? What, the good guys overcome the bad old dinosaurs and escape the island? That's pretty good. Alan became a child lover instead of, I hate children.
Yeah, and bear in mind, there was mention in that Lexus was a bit of a computer hacker, and that's character development.
Yeah, and John Hammond became started off the hard-nosed businessman, and is more cared about human life by the end of the movie. Isn't that human story values? I mean, did this person, Robert Ebert, actually sit down and watch the movie? I'm sorry, Robert. I know you're in heaven.
He probably read the book, but didn't bother to watch the movie. No,
you're supposed to watch the movie.
And
if you watch the original Dracula movie back in 1932, it was Dracula by name. They took the theme, a few names, and wrote their own story out of it. It ain't nothing like the book. Okay?
Yeah, I guess you have a point. Like the Billy Lugosi version of Dracula, it's apart from the beginning part where it deals with the lawyer going to the Dracula's castle, giving him his new house, and that's pretty much all the story that it takes. The rest of it is either has been changed for the sake of the family of Bram Stoker's family or something.
I'm just saying, honestly, you just go on the tangent. I just use it as a comparison.
I know.
It's a name, and they borrow a theme, and then they write a script. You know, I don't care about Crichton's book. they took the book and took bits out of the book to make the movie.
Yeah.
Crichton actually helped the screenplay. He wrote most of it, I believe.
Yeah.
He wrote it to suit the silver screen, not the piece of paper. Okay?
Yeah.
And if you wrote like a piece of paper, it would have been 4 times as long or something.
Yeah, and he may have enjoyed rewriting it.
He probably did.
He may have wanted to...
And he made a shitload of money out of it. I think they paid $1.5 million for the permission, another $500,000 to write the script. He made $2 million in the deal. Oh, he's an inspirational artist. No, he's money hungry like everybody else is, and he got paid for it. And good job, Mr. Crichton.
So, what other good? Can you tell us a few good reviews about it?
No, there were good ones. I just highlight a couple of creepy ones. Okay, Rotten Tomatoes had an approval rating of 92%. What more do I have to say?
No doubt.
They all liked it, okay? Metacritic gave it a weighted 168 out of 100. Generally favourable reviews. Doesn't normally go into it. CinemaScope gave it an A out of an A+ to an F scale. So that was top of the poll there. New York Times called the true movie milestone, presenting all blah, 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 blah. On paper, this story is tailor-made for Mr. Spielberg's talents.
Clever.
But it becomes less crisp on screen than it was on the page, with much of the enjoyable jargon either mumbled confusingly or otherwise thrown away.
Oh, boy.
It's an action horror movie, not doing a Shakespeare soliloquy, okay?
What is with these people?
Janet Maslin wrote that one. It's a twit. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. If she's alive now, I'm sorry for being disrespectful if you long passed away, but that's not a nice critiquing job.
I mean, if you're going to have an action movie and people are running around and shooting, don't say, I'll stop here, I'll stop running and shooting, take my breath and say, I'll say my lines nice and clear. Hello, how are you? I'm doing fine, thank you. I just got shot. Oh, that's lovely. You don't do that. You're huffing and puffing, you're creating an atmosphere of, I'm running for my life. Yeah, you're not going to be doing clear lines. I wouldn't think so. Otherwise, there's no sense of reality.
I did enjoy it. One thing I liked most was the approaching of the T-Rex. The whole where the water...
Oh, yeah. So you weren't talking about that. You said we're doing the franchise. Now you're going back to movie 1 again. Okay.
No, actually, it's not true because all 3 movies did with the... They
actually did it in different ways. In the first movie, when they had the T-Rex coming along and they saw the water ripple in the car, it was used with a guitar string.
Yeah, I want to try that out one day.
Dashboard. Oh, you got to go to my dashboard of my car, are you?
No, I wouldn't mind trying to get a guitar and see if I can.
Well, they actually did it. That's
thing.
How they first discovered it. They got a guitar, an acoustic guitar. Lay it down and put a paper cup or something on it, or a mug, or whatever. Put it on the soundboard and plucked a string, and they saw the nice, neat circle, a ripple come out from the middle of the cup. And they got a bass string or some guitar string or something, a thick string anyway. Put it on there, got the car's dashboard, and they plucked it, and that gave that nice. That's all there was to it.
It is clever.
Yeah, it is. Well, whoopie-doo.
And they did use it for Lost World too.
They possibly used the same thing, or they did something else. How to do it in the ripple and the puddle? There was no bass string, was there? Okay.
Well, we often talk about how we often hear in horror and sci-fi, we often have a sort of theme that allows the audience to know that there is the killer's approaching or the monsters.
Like Jaws.
In this case, it's not a music thing. It's just a matter of hearing the thud noise, and we think there's something approaching.
You hear thud.
It's not a music theme, but it deals with atmosphere.
Here's something just throwing a thing aside and forget about the movie. You know how the dinosaur, the T-Rex, was running after the car in the first movie?
Yes.
Yeah, first movie. Now, it's really funny,
What's that?
T-Rexes can't run that fast. They would break the legs.
Ooh.
But looks good on film.
Well, I never seen a T-Rex in reality chase anything.
The bones are hollow.
Oh, I can't really say.
You got like yours. Your bones are hollow, mine are hollow. They'd have marrow bone, jelly type stuff, whatever. The liquidy type jelly stuff inside the bones, like we do, the bone marrow. Now, what happens is, if they put too much weight on the leg, if they get too big and they put too much weight on that leg, they'll actually snap the leg. That's why if you had a human being put into a machine and made it something like 20 foot tall, they probably wouldn't be able to walk because they'd break the legs when they started to move because the legs wouldn't take the weight. Same thing to Tyrannosaurus Rex trying to run at that speed. It would have taken out its legs, thighs, whatever. It would have been a lump on the ground.
Yeah, good point. But you got to admit, despite his size, I imagine
he was scary.
He probably didn't need to run really fast. He probably had to.
Yeah, but he's running after a car.
Yeah.
He would not be running at 60 miles an hour, or 60 miles an hour, or 6 kilometres an hour, whatever it is.
And considering he often chases down smaller animals like people, and
but who can say how fast they were able to run at? Okay, all right. Even smaller dinosaurs couldn't run as fast as there is a cheetah. Cheetahs can run because they're a light cat, like a creature. Well, they are a cat. But a lot of animals can't run that fast.
What about raptors?
They're small. They might be able to run a bit faster than a T-Rex. A lot do. If I was being chased by a T-Rex, I like to think I could get away from him.
Yeah.
But you get different size. The T-Rex would take one space with their feet, and there might be something like 6 feet, 8 feet between strides, whereas something like a velociraptor might be about 1.5 feet. So they'd have to run 3 or 4 times as fast to do the same speed.
Yeah. So do you want to rate all 3 movies?
You caught me unaware. 10.
I'll give the first one a 10. And, Lost World?
10.
10 too. And the third one, what do you think?
10. I like special effects. I love it.
I give it a 9 out of 10 for that one.
Ooh.
It's just I have my reasons.
The reason I look at these sort of movies and I know they're story driven as well. But if you had a good story and good special effects and the magic happens between the two, I can't fault them. You got a good director, good producer, good actors, good special effects scenes, whatever. It's come together. I can't tell. Well, I didn't like scene 23 where he picked his nose. Well, I don't care. You know.
Yeah. I mean, bear in mind, guys. We'll probably in the near future do a review on Jurassic World. I know I said that before, but I promise you guys we'll review the whole Jurassic World franchise.
By the way, what I normally try to do is, I've had a look at Amazon and eBay. Yes, it's available on both. Yes, you can rent it. Yes, you can buy it.
And be sure to remember, guys, when you do purchase it or order it or rent it, be sure to put the date in.
Well, I was actually going to say something more important.
I know.
Don't buy the VHS copy unless you've got a VHS player. And yes, get there on 1993 for the first one, and whatever the second one, and 2001 for the third one. And
I'm just meaning that people may want, make them, considering that they may change the DVD cover now and then, wherever you are.
They normally put the date.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm just saying that there are people out there who change it ever so often.
Yeah, they do have some VHS copies there as well, so don't buy one of those unless you've got a VHS player.
And you may easily get the whole film franchise together.
There are some box sets in there, I noticed.
Yeah.
But if you want to buy a box set, go for it. I noticed actually some of these on Blu-ray, which is good. So obviously it's still holding its own, and it's obviously still a good commodity. So they're making a Blu-ray. So having said that, I don't know whether the Blu-ray copy is being redigitalized and remastered. So it's up to you to test it out.
Yes. So anyway, that's about it for us tonight, guys. Sorry if this has been a longer.
And if you've been hearing a dog moaning in the background, can you hear? You see that? That's not our dog. It's a neighbour across the road. So not ours. We've got a cat who usually keeps very quiet. No, this dog across the road, it goes on and on and on and on. It's a pain in the neck, and I think I might report him to the RSPCA. I know it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, as you may have heard, guys, I've released my latest film project, Attack of the Cat People, onto Vimeo on demand. So if you guys feel free to check it out and either rent it or buy it, doesn't matter to me.
Either way, we need the money. Well, okay.
In other words, watch it for yourself. If you like it, feel free to check it out and all that stuff.
Now, the only reason why I say that is if you do watch it, it'll help Sarah move on to her next project. So you'll be help funding her next project.
Yeah, so feel free to help us out by renting and buying it.
Rental buy. It's not over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
the renting fee is about $10, and buying is about $15 in Australian.
The rental might be a bit high, but that does help. We're trying to catch up and do another project. Sarah's got it in the pipeline at the moment, so every dollar helps. So please don't be booked by the rental price. Please buy or rent to help out Sarah's next project.
Exactly. So thanks for listening to us, guys, and I hope you guys will join us again on our next podcast. So this is Sarah Stephenson
and Michael
saying, see you guys around.
Bye guys.